Question of the day. My name is Ruben Reacts, by the way. Everybody knows that. Are Dutch people really direct? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it like epic, like me? I would say I'm very direct. It got me into trouble lately. Actually, it got me good things and bad things. Sometimes with like service, I get like very bad. I get very rude and very impatient. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not the way it should be. This is not good. And yeah, that's just because Dutch are very effective, efficient, and they're like, okay, we need to go from A to B. We don't have a lot of time. So that's the part of me that grew up, and being direct can be like, for example, I was in Venice and I was rude to somebody apparently in a way that like I should not have been, according to my French boyfriend. But me, I was just like being direct and being like, I felt I was right. So this is maybe not a good example. But another good example was when I met two people in the hotel, and they were from US, and with people from US always have this instant connection. And it was so funny because I was talking with the guy and the lady, and right away I was like, that I could like guess few things, and they were like, can you read minds or what? I'm like, no, I'm just like, I guess I'm just like good in like reading people. Anyway, this is all not related, I guess, to this, but it is related to the fact that I'm very direct and I am very social, very spontaneous, and I like to talk a lot. I'm sure you guys have noticed in my live streams. And also, yeah, that's just like, it depends on character too. It's also fun because we're gonna discover this in this video, because it's maybe not necessarily like something from like your culture or the way you are raised, because Dutch people don't think I'm a typical Dutch, which I don't think neither, but like other people think I am. So it's like, yeah, let me know what you think.
Anders te vragen of ze zich direct vinden of niet. Jij ook, Richard?
Nee, helemaal niet. Doe zelf maar.
Very good
Dat was
acting.
best wel direct. Maar oké, dan zal ik dat doen.
Very good acting. It's like but it's a good example. Baby Bo, you can stay, huh? My cat's always afraid when I record because I talk a lot.
Vind je Nederlanders direct?
And I talk loud. Okay, talking loud is also very Dutch. Apparently, according to my boyfriend. My boyfriend worked on a boat with Dutch and French and all kinds of nationalities. And he always said that, yeah, we are people that speak loud. And we know this about ourselves too. So let's continue the video.
Ja, heel erg.
Oeh. Ja, ik hoor
Okay,
dat
so
ook
the
vaak.
first
Dat is
lady
wel
says
zijn.
yes.
Ik weet het.
Je bent het
Very
eens
direct.
dat je het vaak hoort.
Ja, daar ben ik het mee eens. Ja.
Heel direct.
Ja.
Straight to the point.
The second
Dat is
lady was
aan de
like, yeah, I agree, but like she was a bit shy because she's like, I'm not really have experience living abroad or meeting a lot of people from abroad, so she was more. This is typical Dutch as well. They know what they can say because of like the situation they're in. They will not like try to pretend to be somebody they're not. While like somebody, you know, from another culture might do that much more.
Situatie aan het moment. Wie kom je tegen? Of wat gebeurt er?
This is true.
Wat zie je? Jij vraagt me nu spontaan, wilt u meewerken? Nou ja, ik heb tijd, dus ik zeg ja. Maar als ik geen tijd heb, zeg ik nee.
Soms wel, soms niet. Ik vind het niet altijd...
It's really true. Like, yeah, I think that lady sum up really good because I think it's you can stereotype a lot, but you can also just like, you have to understand that people's just people, and even though there is a cultural influence, people's just gonna have different characters, and the influence of growing up is maybe bigger than the influence of culture. Plus, a lot of people are like from another country. They never learn the language. So it's like, yeah, there are a lot of things. And when you are from another country and you learn another language, you're gonna understand the culture and the language, but not necessarily the same way, or yeah, they have the same perception as somebody who is from that country. So it's always complicated.
Zo dat ze direct zijn. Ik vind veel nuances daarin. En soms zijn mensen heel subtiel. Ik heb het gevoel dat het meer van de karakter van de mens afhangt.
Ja.
Maar Nederlanders zijn heel helder in het maken van een
She's
afspraak.
very
En dat is denk ik een soort eergevoel ook. Zo van je kunt op me
Oh, I wanna just go into that, because this is really true. When I was in France, the first thing people told me, like, Dutch people are really good. They're very like good, and like a bit like people from Belgium. They're very like in their own group, in their own community. And but people from Holland's very famous. Like when you make a deal or when you make an appointment, you have to stick to it. And you cannot say like, no, another time. You can do that, but it will be straightforward. But like, it's like, you know, when you make a promise, you have to commit to that promise, especially with friends and with like colleagues and stuff like that. So if you're not used to that and you're from another country, it's like it's complicated, because Dutch people really appreciate that a lot. And me as a Dutch person, I got a lot of trouble for that, because I never learned it. I never understood it, because I'm a very stubborn guy and I always did my own thing. So sometimes somebody would make an appointment with me and I would be like, yeah, I don't feel like, or so yeah, again, it all depends on the personality of people. You can have a culture and you can live there for years and still not adapt the culture because of your personality. I think that's also why I live abroad, because I'm like, yeah, some of the times I live abroad because I'm like, that's the thing that like I don't like so much. Like, you know, this kind of, we make a deal, you have to do it. We cannot like, yeah. It's like, yeah, I understand that, especially with friends and with colleagues, I understand that. But it's like, I don't like all these obligations, let's say. I'm not such an obligation guy, you know what I mean?
Je kunt mij vertrouwen. Ik ben niet iemand die achterbaks is of achter de rug. Dus dat helderheid en ik sta hiervoor is denk ik een heel belangrijk Nederlands eigenschap.
That's what I said. I think that's why they do that, because it makes some directness, clearness. It's like, okay, at least you know what to expect, and there will not be any unexpected surprises. And it's not like people can be very friendly, but then behind your back say a lot of bad things, or be like very like, how do you say that in English? Two-faced. Like it's not their real character. That's not really who they are. It's like very, you know, and at least when somebody's direct and when somebody, you know, you can count on them, at least you know that they are what they say they are, you know?
Ja, ik vind Nederlandse mensen heel erg direct juist. Want die zijn gewoon recht voor zijn raap. En die zeggen gewoon waar het op staat. En ja, ik persoonlijk heb ook wel veel in het buitenland mensen ontmoet. En ik kon wel echt die vergelijking maken, of juist niet bedoel ik, dat ze juist heel erg gewoon zeggen wat hun hartje begreep.
Mijn eerste impression is
I have that as well. Because like with some American people I met in Venice, I met them, it was funny, and I don't know, I feel like I could be from US because I just watch a lot of stuff from US since I'm like was a kid. But like I was talking with them, like I was saying to them, and the girl was they were young, around their 30s, and we had an instant connection, and was like, where are you from? The northeast. I'm like, oh, so you're from Seattle. And she said, how do you know that? I'm like, well, I'm good in geography. And then it's like, and I look at her husband and I'm like, you work in IC, right? And she's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, you know, that's the direct part, but I'm very good in reading people. And I'm like, yeah, he looks like a geek to me. So also my boyfriend's an IC. So I recognize a lot of like things. I guess I have a good memory and I know how to like, I can, you know, read people. Sometimes I'm wrong though, because some people are complicated. But like in general, it's a good reading.
in een Nederlandse bar. En te vragen to me, Are you gay?
Yeah, this is something. Yeah.
Ja, ja. Zo. Nee?
Dat was direct.
Ja, ja, ja.
Is het misschien een soort openheid die we...
Maybe because the guy just was interested. He was like, can I go further with you? At least you ask.
hebben of zo? Die wat meer een soort gezelligheid met elkaar? Dat je daardoor wat sneller persoonlijke dingen vraagt of zegt? Ja, dat weet ik. Ja, voor maar vermoeden hoor, geen idee.
Definitely.
Sommige mensen zijn wel direct. Kijk, als je als
That's what I think. That's what I was said about this like small communities that we are very connected to each other usually. It's like this word gezellig is the most famous in Dutch. We have a lot of like connection to each other, and it's just because it's a small country, I guess, that it's like that. But it's like, you know, when you feel at home and you trust people, and it's like cozy is the word for gezellig in English. When you're having a good time with other people, you just like, you open up.
Persoonlijke dingen vraagt of zegt? Ja, dat weet ik. Ja, voor maar vermoeden hoor, geen idee.
Sommige mensen zijn wel direct. Kijk,
And she's like me. She's like, it's just she's like, it's just a hunch I'm having, but I guess it's like this. So you have to not take this video too seriously. It's just to have fun.
Als je Nederlands bent, dan zie je het niet, denk ik, hetzelfde als dat andere mensen het misschien zien.
Yeah, it's true.
U vindt het zelf niet zo'n fijne eigenschap?
Ik wil wel graag dat mensen eerlijk zijn, maar
If
kun je het
you're
ook op
Dutch,
andere
you don't
manieren
always
zeggen.
see it.
Laten we het zo
It's
zeggen.
true.
Iets vriendelijker. In plaats van gewoon lomp wat je denkt eruit kwakken.
Waar kom je zelf vandaan?
Okay, that's a lady that works in sales, and she definitely had some bad experience with people, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna use this video to say, because usually Dutch people are very polite. I've been in other countries, and I find I've never had bad experience with Dutch people at all. I've never fight with Dutch people. They're very polite people. Even so polite that sometimes it made me feel like uncomfortable. And that I was always like, okay, maybe I'm like like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm not, I wish I could be more like them.
Ik kom uit Oekraïne, maar ik woon hier voor 4 jaar. Het is mijn 4e jaar hier.
Geven Nederlanders wel eens een mening aan je en dat je toch iets te direct vindt?
Ja, ik denk zo. Bijvoorbeeld in mijn universiteit, als je vindt iets niet leuk, je kan zeggen, oh, ik denk dat het is niet een goed idee of zo als dat. En volgens mij is het ook een goede ding.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I'm sure that's what I hear a lot of people who work in Holland. That like they always say this. They always say like it's good when you work because it's very efficient. Things go fast, and it's not, you know, like you can say no, I don't agree, instead of like in other cultures where you have to, you cannot. Like another guy made a video where he was saying in other cultures people are not, they don't take criticism very well. You cannot give direct feedback. It's not possible. It has to be always positive, otherwise it's not possible. And the Netherlands is one of the countries where it's the most important and where it's the most upfront about this, and it's a good thing. It's a good quality because in the end you get a lot of work done.
Wil je je woordenschat over Nederlandse directheid verbeteren?
And this goes both in the workplace and in the relationships, because it's you know, it's just like one transfers in the other. It's just a cultural thing.
Dan lid van onze community. De link vind je hier onderaan in de descriptie.
So,
als je lid wordt van onze community, ontvang je audiomateriaal,
I'm just like
videomateriaal,
I love this.
transcripties.
Very good acting again. Although this was real. You got some
Zeker
stuff.
belangrijk. En toegang tot oefenmaterialen. Maar die zijn weg.
No, but by the way, my cousin, I don't know if she's watching, but my cousin had a bad accident in like a slide, and she's like 15 or something, and she like broke her front teeth. So if you are watching and you understand my English, I hope you're doing better. Poor girl, she's like 15 and she had a bad accident in a slide because some people in the slide were sitting still. And I told my boyfriend that's what I used to do when I was a teenager as well. But it's really bad because when somebody bump into you, you can have a terrible, terrible accident. So for everybody watching, listening to this, don't do that. It's not funny.
En ben je ook...
Ik ben zelf ook Nederlands.
Ben je direct?
Ik ben ook wel redelijk direct, ja. Maar ik heb veel gereisd en ik merk wel dat ik me vaak schaam voor andere Nederlanders.
I hear an accent from The Hague, which is like a very... I love that. That's my favorite accent. This is my favorite people because they're very... they have a special accent and they're very direct. Almost like people from Rotterdam. And I just love it. I just love this accent and the way they speak. And the most direct are people from Rotterdam and from The Hague. From the Randstad, you could say, from Amsterdam as well. So yeah.
Als ik ze hoor praten of als ik ze zie hoe ze zich verhouden tot mensen, denk ik, ja, dat zou beter kunnen.
En bent u direct?
Nee. Nee. Of ik
So you see, you have also this kind of Dutch people.
Als ze echt specifiek mijn mening vragen, dan zeg ik direct wat ik echt denk. En anders zal ik absoluut iemand niet gaan kwetsen door bepaalde dingen te zeggen.
Ik denk dat ik
You
een
see,
best
it's
wel...
like, yeah, no, I'm direct, but I'm not so direct as most people. I'm just like, I will never hurt someone's feelings, and I always think before I say something, which I think is a good quality. This is good about countries that are more reserved. Definitely in countries in the south and south of Holland as well. It's all more Catholic, and everywhere where it's more Catholic, people are more reserved. In the north and in Holland and the Scandinavian countries, and not all of them, but Sweden, for example, they're more open also. But in Holland specific, because it's like Calvinistisch, and even like if you're in Amsterdam, you have all the windows are open, and it's just a reflection again of like the people and the culture.
Direct persoon ben. Ik zeg meestal wel wat ik denk. En ja, soms ook met een bochtje om, als het ware. Maar vaak wel heel direct.
Ja, als je iets denkt over iets, dan zeg je dat gewoon meteen. In plaats van hele omweg te nemen om tot hetzelfde punt te komen, laat maar zeggen.
Ik ben heel direct.
I agree.
Mijn kinderen zeggen dat ook altijd. C'est le ton, zeggen ze dan tegen mij. Van vast op je woorden. Maar ik ben gewoon, hup.
I like that because she spoke some French, and I'm very connected with France, and I speak almost fluent French, almost.
Ze zeggen dat ook altijd. C'est le ton, zeggen ze dan tegen mij. Van vast op je woorden. Maar ik ben gewoon...
That's funny because I live here for almost 10 years in France. I didn't even know that c'est le ton, that means like, yeah, that is the klem tone. That's what we say in Holland as well. It's exactly the same. But it's like, it's the way you say something. It's not what you say, but how you say it. And that's really more French. While in Dutch, it's like, it doesn't matter how you say it. It just has to get to the point, straight to the point. And that's really a cultural difference. I personally never had any trouble with that. Maybe it's because I'm in an area of France where people are more open. But like, yeah, but I never had any trouble. But you know, you never know like what people really like. When you talk to somebody, you don't know what they think. So you don't know if like when you're gone, maybe behind your back, they're like, oh, this guy's very direct. I'm not used to that. But yeah, that's like, oh, but he's from Holland, so that's normal.
Hup, wat ik vind, vind ik. En ik wil wel in discussie of ik het verkeerd zie. Ja, het is niet zo dat mijn gedachten zaligmakend zijn. Maar dan ga ik daarover in discussie. En iemand kan mij prima overtuigen als ik het verkeerd zie.
En verwacht je ook...
Me, I prefer having a relationship where you can have a debate, discussion with a good communication. than like or like having a talk with somebody, than like where it's like, you know, not clear, because then I feel uncomfortable. I just like to have a relationship where I feel like I can be myself.
Kan mij prima overtuigen als ik het verkeerd zie.
En verwacht je ook zelf directe antwoorden?
Ja, maar ik ben het ook wel gewend hoor. Van de mensen met wie ik omga zijn allemaal redelijk direct. Dus ja.
Over mijn uiterlijk?
Als je een nieuwe kapsel heeft.
Oh, dat ze dan direct zijn van, oh, het staat niet of het staat wel, bedoel je? Ik heb daar zelf niet last van, maar ja, als ik erom vraag om een mening, dan zal ik die ook, zal ik die ook wel geven. Dus, ja.
Stel dat iemand wil afspreken, maar je hebt geen zin, zeg je dan dat je 's avonds alleen wilt zijn die avond of een smoesje?
Inmiddels wel geleerd.
Me, I would never, like, I give somebody compliments, but about the way somebody looks, I'm always cautious, because I never want to hurt somebody's feelings. So I'm always like, oh, you look really good, or I always try to find something positive, because nobody's perfect, you know, so.
Om geen smoesjes meer te doen. Toen ik heel jong was, deed ik dat nog wel eens, om er een beetje mee weg te komen, om niet heel vervelend gevonden te worden, of onaardig.
Oh wait, she's saying something that I really experienced too when I was younger, I believe. But I'm not sure.
Stel dat iemand wil afspreken, maar je hebt geen zin, zeg je dan
that's what I was talking about. That you wanna meet, and somebody wants to have a dinner with you, or wants to go out with you, or do something with you, and you're like, when it's evening, you're like, I don't feel like, or even when you say yes, you're already like, oh, I should have said maybe. That's exactly what she's saying, and I was like this as well. And then after me too, I was like, finally I learned it when I was older, and then some people were getting like offended, and I was like, yeah, but you know, it's not, you know, that's the way it is. I cannot, sorry.
Alleen wilt zijn die avond of een smoesje?
Inmiddels wel geleerd om geen smoesjes meer te doen. Toen ik heel jong was, deed ik dat nog wel eens, om er een beetje mee weg te komen, om niet heel vervelend gevonden te worden, of onaardig.
That's the thing, that you lie, or you're not being honest, but you're not being honest just because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or, you know, and it's better just to say, I don't want, or I'm not sure. So yeah, that's very important. And for young people, that's always like complicated. I don't know the new generation how they do, because they are different and they have a lot of like information from phones and TikTok, and I don't know what kind of, you know, apps they're using. But for me, it was also like this when I grew up.
Maar inmiddels kan ik wel zeggen, ik heb even tijd voor mezelf nodig. Ja.
Yeah, me too.
Interessant. Ja, ik merkte het toen
Even
ik
too much.
woonde, dat ze, als ik direct was, dat mensen echt beledigd waren.
Even so much that people say like, are we still friends? And I'm like, yes, but it's like, I like to be alone. I'm like, I have a boyfriend, I have a social life with my boyfriend, and I have a family with my cats and stuff like that. And it's enough for me. I don't like need to see you all the time. And it's like some other people are like, okay. But when I started living abroad more and more, people started knowing, okay, so Ruben has less time.
En zeiden dat ik een smoesje had moeten bedenken. Dat ik zei dat ze, kan ik op bezoek komen? Ik zei, ja, vandaag ben ik een beetje moe, ik wil een beetje bij de tv gaan alleen. En dan zijn ze echt helemaal beledigd.
Echt waar? Dus waar...
So he said in Finland, if I because maybe there's some people from Finland watching. It's funny, he said it's the opposite.
Ja, ik merkte het toen ik in Finland woonde, dat ze, als ik direct was, dat ze mensen echt beledigd waren en zeiden dat ik een smoesje had moeten bedenken. Dat ik zei dat ze, kan ik op bezoek komen? Ik zei, ja, vandaag ben ik een beetje moe, ik wil een beetje bij de tv gaan alleen. En dan zijn ze echt helemaal beledigd.
Echt waar? Dus
yeah, but maybe that's just the person he meets, but I can imagine that can be also a cultural thing. So yeah.
Waar ik zo trots op ben dat ik het eindelijk kan, dat is eigenlijk daar niet zo, wordt niet zo gewaardeerd.
daar waarschijnlijk niet.
Ik werk.
Yeah, me too. That for me it was really a struggle to learn how to say no. Like I find saying no still sometimes, but when you're older it changes. But like when you're young, saying no is complicated because you're just always thinking about what others are thinking and stuff, you know.
In een winkel en dan mag je niet heel direct zijn. Dan moet je toch
so I was right.
klantvriendelijk zijn en
I was like, she's working in a shop.
proberen dingen een beetje
I'm always reading people. What the fuck?
over te brengen.
Am I
met...
like some kind of psychic guy maybe without knowing it? Who knows?
Meteen zeggen van...
My predictions for Eurovision or maybe is a good sign of that.
Wat heeft u een rare broek aan? Of ik zou het anders doen als ik u was. Zo, dat kan dan niet. En dat vind ik wel direct.
Je past je een beetje aan de omgeving waar je zit. Ja. Als je sollicitatiegesprek bent, ga je niet heel... ja, dan probeer je het wat casual te houden. Inderdaad. Ja.
Op jouw werk, met jouw collega's.
But if that lady's watching, I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I just I just mean like because in the video, in the beginning of the video, I said she was like, you know, trying to like how do you say afreageren in English? Yeah, she had a bad day and she, I cannot judge that, but she was coming off a little bit like passive aggressive, annoyed about like, you know, yeah, Dutch people are too direct, and I was like, okay, she's just having a bad day. So that's what I meant. Anyways, see, I'm always like overthinking, like not to hurt people's feelings. So in that way, I'm also very.
Probeer het wat casual te houden. Inderdaad.
Ja. Op jouw werk,
yeah,
met
exactly.
jouw collega's.
It just depends on the situation. When it's work, you don't like go and you know. You can be yourself, but not like when you're at work or, you know.
De omgeving waar je zit. Als je sollicitatiegesprek bent, ga je niet heel... ja, dan probeer je het wat casual te houden. Inderdaad.
Op jouw werk, met jouw collega's.
Although, if you're lucky and you have a nice colleagues and you have a nice boss, which like I guess in Holland, I know a lot of people who work and they are saying that the work environment is nice. Then it's no problem. You can just like be yourself. And I always feel like if you're not yourself at work, it's not good. Because like, I mean like, why would you not be yourself? I mean like, it's just colleagues. It's just like people you deal with at work.
Hoe communiceren jullie direct?
Ja, direct. Niet per se overal alsjeblieft achterplakken bijvoorbeeld. Het is gewoon, je bent aan het werk, je wilt je efficiëntie een beetje omhoog krikken en daarbij komt een beetje tempo naar voren. En dan zeg je gewoon, hey, mag ik dit, mag ik dat? En dat werkt vlotter. Dus,
Yeah, that's very Dutch. It's like, let's do it as fast as possible so we don't have to, yeah. I think that's good because if you want to be efficient, and you want to work a lot, and you want to work fast, and you want to be done not too late, then this is the good mindset.
Collega's, hoe communiceren jullie direct?
Ja, direct. Niet per se overal alsjeblieft achterplakken bijvoorbeeld. Het is gewoon, je bent aan het werk, je wilt je efficiëntie een beetje omhoog krikken en daarbij komt een beetje tempo naar voren. En dan zeg je gewoon, hey, mag ik dit, mag ik dat? En dat werkt vlotter. Dus daar zit ik niet met een slecht gevoel bij of zo.
Vindt u dat...
I love that when you're like in this rhythm, in this flow. That's why I'm always like happy when I can make videos and content. When you are like doing something and everything just goes like, you know, naturally, it flows. And I just like to be busy also. And I think that's when you like your job, you don't mind being busy. So that's a good example as well. The next question: do you think Dutch people should be more direct in communication? By the way, this is not my job. This is my hobby. Just to be clear.
Nederlanders meer direct in communicatie zijn dan andere culturen.
Nou, ik zeker, maar ik kom uit het noorden van Nederland. En dan is het bam. Echt ja, wij zeggen gewoon waar het op staat. In het zuiden niet.
I don't have experience. Oh yes, I do actually. I went to Texel and like the north of Holland. It's true what she says, and especially people from like Groningen. It's famous for that. They are more like rough people, we call them. It's famous for that. But it depends always on the people.
Zuiden is meer georiënteerd ook op Frankrijk.
But this is definitely true. I said this in the beginning of the video as well.
Zullen ze een beetje omkleden. Daar is men ook katholiek. In het zuiden van Nederland is men katholiek. En die hebben een andere communicatie. Ik kom uit het noorden, dat is echt...
Oh, so literally what I said in the beginning is, she's just repeating it. That in the south of Holland, people are more Catholic. And in the north of Holland, it's really like, they're very direct. For me, the most direct are people from like Groningen, the north of Holland, although I don't have a lot of experience with them. And then after, I would say like The Hague, Rotterdam and Amsterdam. Those definitely the most direct.
In het zuiden niet.
Andere culturen. Dus meer direct in communicatie zijn dan andere culturen.
Nou, ik zeker, maar
I
ik kom
like
uit
this
het
lady.
noorden van Nederland.
She seems smart.
En dan is het bam. Ja, wij zeggen gewoon waar het op staat. In het zuiden niet. Het zuiden is meer georiënteerd ook op Frankrijk en België.
And that's the lady that was saying Celeton. Yeah, but it's funny that she say all this because I'm like a Dutch-French person, and it's like exactly like this. But I grew up at Catholic schools, which doesn't mean anything because like a school can be Catholic and you don't even pray or whatever. So that doesn't mean anything. But in the south of Holland, especially, much more tradition with Catholic religion, carnival. They don't speak the same way. It's just more like people in Belgium and France. They have more that attitude. And yeah, in Maastricht, it's very international as well. You have a lot of like reflection of that.
Het zuiden is meer georiënteerd ook op Frankrijk en België. Daar zullen ze een beetje omkleden. Daar is men ook katholiek. In het zuiden van Nederland is men katholiek. En die hebben een andere communicatie. Ik kom uit het noorden, dat is echt Calvinistisch. En dat is...
Also reflected in the houses.
Zijn er ook gebieden in Nederland waar...
I don't know. I never visited the south of Holland only when I was a kid, when I was small, to go on holidays. But I think if I would go to Maastricht, also the architecture and the houses, maybe the windows will be open, but there will be more maybe windows with shutters, I guess. And the people will be less direct.
Waar men directer is of minder direct, in Nederland zelf?
In Amsterdam zijn mensen heel direct. En als je kijkt bijvoorbeeld naar mensen in de Achterhoek, die zijn wat gereserveerder. Die willen niet op de voorgrond treden.
Maar ik heb een tijdje in Amerika
Yeah, but that's also like people from countryside. I think that's in every country though. Like people from the countryside, because in Holland you have the Randstad with all the big cities. And then you have the part on the right of Holland. It's like you have all the nature, Gelderland, Flevoland, Gelderland, Overijssel. Those are 3 provinces where you have the most nature, and Drenthe as well, and Zeeland as well. Well, let's say you have the Randstad, and then a lot around Holland, all the south to the southeast, what is against Germany, is very... wait, I just lost my thought. Sorry, it's coming back. Okay, it's very... people have more nature, and they're more like living in forest, living in nature, and that's where all the nature is. Well, in the Randstad, it's all cities. It's all big cities next to each other. Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Den Haag, Utrecht, all the big cities. I'm from Schiedam, which is a close neighbor to Rotterdam, and that's also quite big city. So yeah, you have like
gewoond. En wat mij toen opviel, toen had ik een interactie met iemand. En toen kwam heel erg naar voren dat ze zeiden van ja, you're always so down to earth, always so direct, weet je wel. Dus eigenlijk met andere woorden dat ik altijd zeg waar ik zin in heb. Dus ja, misschien heb ik dat wel van mijn Nederlandse kant meegekregen. Ja.
That part yes, but down to earth not always. This guy is good because he explains it also from the perspective of like Dutch people. That like people from abroad might see Dutch people a certain way, but Dutch people don't even know that about themselves.
Hoe denk je dat bijvoorbeeld de buurlanden naar ons kijken?
Ja, kijk, als je in België rijdt, daar zijn ze vaak wel liever, wat aardiger. Ik heb ook wel het idee dat ik beter naar België kan gaan, omdat ze daar wel altijd lief doen tegen je. Maar ja, aan de andere kant is dat dan misschien niet altijd eerlijk. Duitsland.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? That's also what I said in the beginning of the video. Even though people can be much more formal or much nicer or much more like, yeah, let's say more reserved and more polite, which I think I went to Belgium, I agree with that. But then it's not 100% sure what the attention is, always. While somebody who's very straight forward and very direct and very open, and you can feel that and see that in somebody's character as well, usually, then those people, it's more like, you know that you can count on them, and that's not somebody's gonna be like talk behind your back or backstab, or how do you call this? This is a French very famous two-faced, but there is a French word for it as well, which we use in Dutch as well, but I forgot it for some.
Want klinkt vaak harder, maar tegelijkertijd zijn ze denk ik formeler.
German definitely,
yeah. Onszelf, denk ik.
Dat denk ik wel. Ik denk dat het
I always say be yourself. I hope that's a Dutch thing that I represent. That might be true. It's true that German are more formal. That's definitely true. I don't know why he said more rough. I don't know what he means with that.
Dat denk ik wel. Ik denk dat de Belgen...
Zijn ze denk ik formeler. We zijn gewoon onszelf.
He means that when they speak because the translation in English is not good, should be German. German sounds more rough. Yeah, that's true. While Dutch already is a rough language. Like when people hear Dutch, they're always like, and in a way it's true.
We zijn gewoon onszelf.
So listen to it, be yourself.
Dat denk ik wel. Ik denk dat de Belgen iets minder direct zijn en de Duitsers ook meer met respect naar een ander praten en ook niet te direct zijn dan.
So Belgen, people from Belgium have a good reputation in Holland, and we like them a lot because it's close to us, and we like that part of them. And with German people the same, that it's like something that like Dutch people sometimes, because we're so direct and we're quite loud often, that we like when people are more not so loud and yeah, when they're very polite. We're not used to that. We're like very straightforward and direct. I mean, I'm saying we, but like that's also the experience from like a lot of Dutch people, I guess. So I'm just talking for myself, but
direct zijn en de Duitsers ook meer met respect naar een ander praten. En
what did he say about people from Belgium? They're less direct. Yeah, more polite, less direct, and the other guy as well said, but that's not, maybe that's also not always a good thing. So that's, yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's just a different way of being. Like they're Catholic and the Dutch are more Protestant and Calvinisty, so it's like, it's just, that's the difference.
Iets minder direct zijn en de Duitsers ook meer met respect naar een ander praten en ook niet te direct zijn dan.
Nou, ik ben al lang niet per se...
But I don't understand why he says the German are more respectful. I mean, like, I find Dutch people very respectful as well, so I think this is just somebody who maybe doesn't, he lives in Holland and he doesn't always like living there. Like everybody, in your own country, you always like think, oh, I wish I could live somewhere else as well, because yeah, I don't like every aspect of my country. So yeah.
Duitsers ook meer met respect naar een ander praten en ook niet te direct zijn dan.
But German are definitely not direct.
Ik ben in het buitenland geweest, maar ik heb een vriendin en haar vriend.
German are very, very complicated for Dutch people, because we cannot make certain jokes which we like to. We cannot say everything. At the same time, they're very polite, but they're not direct at all. It's like German are much more like French people, much more reserved. And when you make a certain kind of joke, but this is not with French, but this is with German, specifically, certain jokes they don't like, and yeah, it's just a different culture, it's like
Het is Engels, die komt uit Engeland en die zegt dat altijd wel, van jullie zijn zo direct. Maar ik kan er niet een voorbeeld van geven, maar die zegt dat altijd. Dus het zal wel waar zijn.
Uit welk land kom jij?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, that's like the thing that the two things they say about Dutch is they are tall, very sportive usually, and very good in sports and stuff like that. Ambitious, good in trading, of course, everyone knows that. We are the second country in the world that's with trading, after US, which is crazy because, like, if you compare US to Holland, yeah, very good in exports, very good in discovering, and we like to speak English, and that's why for a lot of English people or people speaking English from abroad, from Poland or whatever, sometimes they get frustrated when they live in Holland because they're like, I want to learn Dutch, but all the Dutch people keep speaking English to me. And I'm like, yeah, but that's just because we like speaking in English. It's just yeah. That must be annoying sometimes when you are from another country, or when you're like from a country where they speak English and you come to Holland to learn Dutch and people are always speaking to you in English. You must be like, oh, I'm trying Dutch.
Ik heb een vriendin en haar vriend is Engels. Die komt uit Engeland en die zegt dat altijd wel, van jullie zijn zo direct. Maar ik kan er niet een voorbeeld van geven, maar die zegt dat altijd. Dus het zal wel waar zijn.
Uit welk land kom jij?
Ik kom uit Engeland, Liverpool.
Mensen.
Eurovision. You just had Eurovision. When was this recorded? Okay, so yeah, this guy literally experienced Eurovision. I don't know. Maybe that's where he got the guy who asked him, "Are you gay?"
In Liverpool zijn niet heel direct, toch?
Liverpool ook. Ook? Ja, ja. Noord-Engeland is direct. Zuid, niet zo. London, niet zo. Maar in de Noord, ja, direct.
Okay, so I mean, like, that's really good. I didn't even know that about Liverpool. I thought they were just like the rest of UK, but I guess that more north you go, more direct they are, because, like, I know Scottish are very direct as well. I always like Scottish because they are like this, and with north of England it's the same. It must be the same. So I forget that place in the north, but like there's one place in the north that's very close to Scotland.
Ik denk dat de buitenlanders wat terughoudender zijn, dus een beetje afwachten.
It was with the Venga Boys as well. It was like, you guys are here a lot. Why? And they were like, oh, we feel at home here. So maybe that's what the Venga Boys like about Liverpool. When they went there, they were like, we like that the people are so direct, and yeah, we feel at home.
Ik denk dat de buitenlanders wat terughoudender zijn, dus een beetje afwachten.
True.
Eerst kijken en dan vragen of vertellen.
Maar ik weet wel, bijvoorbeeld in de horeca.
That's true. But this also is something I already said before. She's talking about like the service and the horeca, horeca is they didn't even know how to translate that. They put hospitality industry, which I guess is a good translation, but it's more like horeca is just like restaurants, bars, all this stuff. We complain a lot about that, and it's just because we are used to having good service, and when we don't have good service we get annoyed. So even when somebody's making like a grumpy face, we're like, what's wrong with him, you know, like, change your job. And we don't say that. I often say that, and my boyfriend as well, by the way, and his friends, but we don't mean that in like a bad way, but we're like, yeah, like, you know, we are here to have a good time, and you are here to give us a good time. I know you cannot be happy every day, but it's your job. And yeah, you know, it's very important in that job specifically that you make people feel at home and you make people feel happy. It's like a hotel or a bed and breakfast, you know.
Dat Nederlanders dan heel gauw, als iets niet goed is, daar wat van zeggen. En ja, dat zouden Fransen bijvoorbeeld nooit doen.
Ja.
Die zouden dat meer aankleden. Die zouden dat op een andere manier doen.
En u zei...
Again, about French, I agree with that. They're more reserved. But my boyfriend's French, and he does say this a lot. But maybe it's because he is From a part of France where people are not the same as like Parisians. So yeah.
Dat u uit Canada komt. Merkt u verschil tussen Canada en Nederland?
Heel veel verschillen, ja. Maar ik ben hier ook zo lang. Ik vind de manier van omgaan in Nederland veel socialer. Er is meer bewustheid in het omgaan.
That's funny that she says that, because that's what American people always say about Canadians, that they're more social. And her, she says that she's from Canada, and she says Dutch are much more like social. So that's funny.
Gaan denk ik van mensen. Ook de behoefte om samen koffie te gaan drinken, samen aan tafel overleggen met elkaar. Zelfs in een boot, zeg maar, naar Texel, dan heb je.
By the way, Dutch and Canadian have a very good relationship. Like we always send a lot of tulips to them because they freed us during the war. A lot of Canadians, a lot of Americans, and also some English people, sorry. Like we never forget that, because like that was a very tough period, and it's not even that long ago. Like, look at what's happening now in the world. You can imagine how it was in the Second World War. Like, I can literally like imagine sometimes like how it was. I try not to, because that makes you depressed. But like, yeah, Dutch people had a really tough time after that. And I always have stories from my grandfather, because my grandfather was also like forced to make airplanes yeah. So I always hear stories about that as well. And a lot of people my age and older grow up with that, because they have their parents who grew up. My parents as well were kids when the war was happening, or they were born just after the war. Excuse me, but a lot of people, their parents have been in the were kids when the war happened and stuff like that. So it's also a cultural thing to talk about that, and we have a lot of history, and there is a lot of bunker and places like Nijmegen where you have a lot of history, where it was a big battle. It was even like in Band of Brothers in this kind of series. So it's a very big part of Dutch culture as well. Yeah.
Aan tafel waar mensen eromheen kunnen gaan zitten. Dus ik vind dat gevoel van gemeenschap heel sterk hier.
I went to Texel with my boyfriend for like by the way, if you want to see some pictures of that, it's on my Facebook and my Instagram. We went there. We had a lot of fun for like 3 years or 4 years. 3 years, I think, in 2016, 2017, and 2018. Oh, and 2019. So I think 4 years. And yeah, we went there and we had a lot of fun. And as a Dutch person, I just didn't know about it. I knew Terschelling, but I never knew Texel. And I just fell in love the first time I went there. And it's so fun because, like, when you go with someone from abroad, you go to all the touristic places that you usually never go to when you live in the country. It's like with my ex-boyfriend, he lived in Paris. He never went to see the Eiffel Tower and the Notre Dame. But because he was with me, he wanted to show me those places. So it was the same for me. I discovered like Kinderdijk in Holland and Keukenhof with the tulips. And I discovered Texel, which is the biggest island of those islands, what we call the Wadden Eilanden, which is going from Holland until Denmark. And my boyfriend's gonna laugh. Yeah, this is like a super nice island, and it's true that on the ferry you have a lot of tables, and we eat and we talk with each other. It's not a long ride, which is nice as well. Like, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was like 30 minutes, the ferry, or 1 hour. Yeah, something like that. And then you arrive, and it's a really nice island. It was on UNESCO as well. It is on UNESCO as well, the island. And me, I got lucky with my boyfriend, because in 2017 or 2018, forgive me, there was also one of those big lakes that became pink because of the algae. You know, you have those pink lakes in countries like France, in countries, some places where it's more hot, in the southeast of France, and I believe also in hot countries like Morocco and Senegal and Australia, they have those pink lakes, and I always love that. But in Texel, it's very unusual because it's like usually the coldest. It's the coldest part of Holland, and it was so dry that year that they had a pink lake. One lake became pink because there was no rain for 2 months, and so the algae, I don't know how to say that in English. They made this pink color, and you can see that picture on my Facebook as well. It's so cool. I just like, that's a very fun memory, because usually you have to go to very hot countries to see that, or to like the south of Europe, like Greece has it as well, and I'm sure in Italy as well. But like, yeah, I was really like, it was really cool to see that in like the same year we went on holidays. It was such a coincidence, and we made pictures there. It was a very special moment.
Wij zijn benieuwd of jullie ooit Nederlandse directheid hebben ervaren.
I wouldn't like to experience it again.
Achter in de comments.
Because me and my boyfriend go on holidays. If we go on holidays to the north of Holland, we go there to escape in August from the hot weather. Because here in August, where we live in the south of France, it's much more hot. And yeah, we don't like that. So this is all just like to subscribe, but I can leave it for you guys. But I think that lady in the end was a good sum up.
We gaan zitten. Dus ik vind dat gevoel van gemeenschap
so
heel sterk.
These videos are fun because
wij zijn benieuwd.
I did only some other videos about traveling and stuff, but this is like right up my alley. So I think I'm gonna make another reaction and make some more reactions to this, because it's just like it's fun for somebody who's born in Holland and knows about Holland to just like, who is Dutch, to talk about this and to like make you guys discover some new content for people who would like to learn Dutch. You can go on this channel.
Of jullie ooit Nederlandse directheid hebben ervaren. Mocht dat zo zijn, laat het hieronder achter in de comments. Vergeet niet te abonneren op ons kanaal. Vond je dit een leuke video? Laat een like achter. Vond je er niks aan? Ben maar gewoon direct en laat een dislike achter.
I did not talk too much.
Tot de volgende keer.
I see that.
Voor het kijken.
Houdoe. And
houdoe is something they say in the south as well. I see that I talked a bit too much because like the video is 15 minutes and the video is only 13 minutes. But hey, you know, I just wanted to have a fun video with some life stories of myself as well. So, here we go.
Als je lid wordt van onze community, geef ik je persoonlijk een recept om heel goedkoop bellenblaas te maken.
Oh. Well, another reason to join Easy Dutch. And you can, Easy Languages, they have like different ones. Greek, Italian, Spanish, French, all kinds of languages that you can like observe and learn. Oh, this one is Learn Dutch from the Streets. Yeah, I think I'm going to do one of those next. So I hope I didn't talk too much. If I did, I apologize. But I just feel like it's entertaining to talk about this kind of stuff. Be yourself, be nice to each other always. Hope you enjoyed this video, even if it's a bit longer. Subscribe, comment, and like, and just like slay queen. And see you guys next video. Doei, ciao, ciao. Hey, alpha. I love you guys. And just like be yourself.